All right, y'all, we back with another one, and we gonna get into this. We gonna get into this, y'all. We gonna get into this, man. We gonna get into it, man. So at least for the past 2 days, it's been a long 2 days, y'all. And from North Carolina with the President Trump now publicly going on a denouncing rant about a Ukrainian woman, and no disrespect to her, Iryna Zarutska is what her name is. Rest in peace to her. However, it's really interesting. So we have a same scenario with the sister above. Her name is Nia Wilson. She actually received the same exact fatality, unfortunately, from one of these weird, sick freaks that just randomly attacked the sister. And she was just on the train, minding her own business with two of her sisters. And while she was talking to a baby, this demon went and unalived our sister, right? And I feel like I had to speak on this because this is really funny how, it's not funny, but it's crazy, right? The way the whole world is in an uproar. They need to make a global announcement. It's an absolute priority, and it's a catastrophe, an international catastrophe, right? And we're not downplaying the sister's death, Iryna's death. However, keep the same energy when you're talking about lives, because this happened with Nia Wilson. This creep that unalived her. I want to say 7 years ago now. Nobody said anything. There was no president, and I believe President Trump was already in office then too. So where is that same energy at? So of course, the wannabe, the outragers, right? The wannabe white supremacists. They're gonna speak whenever there's somebody that looks like them, and they're gonna get offended, but they turn a blind eye when it's somebody that's not their color. And they try to set a precedent with this to let you know this. So this is just a message to let you know that their lives and their people are the preserved race, and they are to be protected at all costs. And they are the true Americans. See, Trump gives an underlying racism. Okay. And he demonstrates it. He don't necessarily have policies in place. But this is exactly what he's saying. So let's get into this. And we played this a little bit earlier, man. And unfortunately, again, she shouldn't have had to went through that. But keep the same energy all the way around. And it's just a disrespect to Nia Wilson. Suffered the same exact thing. Nobody said a thing. No president stood for her. There wasn't no public service announcement and none of that.
10 p.m. on August 22nd, and 34-year-old.
I do not own the rights to this video. We're just doing this for informational purposes only, analyzing the situation and giving our own 2 cents on it.
DeCarlos Brown Jr. is seated on a Charlotte light rail train. Several other people are around him. According to officials, a few minutes later, the train doors open, and 23-year-old Iryna Zarutska gets on and takes a seat in front of Brown. She's wearing what appears to be a work uniform, AirPods, and looking at her phone. But then, the unthinkable happens. You see Brown pull out what officials say was a pocket knife. He unfolds it, then stands up behind Zarutska. What we aren't showing you is the moment where Brown then stabs Zarutska several times and walks away. Here you can see Brown trying to get off the train. Then a few people spring into action, attempting to save Zarutska. She would die from her injuries. Meanwhile, Brown, who has removed his hoodie, waits for the train to stop. Then you see him exit. Officials say it appears that Brown and Zarutska did not know each other, and a motive for the stabbing remains under investigation. According to court documents, Brown has a criminal history dating back to 2011, including robbery with a dangerous weapon and other offenses. Brown is charged with first-degree murder.
Yeah, so now we're going to get into the same scenario. Same exact scenario. There was no outrage, right? It was actually more sinister. Right? So we're going to play it. Rest in peace to Nia Wilson. And she's an actual sister that's actually from this country who actually needs to be acknowledged and, sent off the right way and had the same exact energy and that same sorrow for this sister, bottom line. And this character, this piece of filth, was just plotting on her. And there was nobody talking about this. So again, we're going to pay homage to Nia Wilson. Rest in peace to that sister, just getting on a train, mind her own business with her three sisters, got, stabbed fatally. So we're going to just pay her homage and, and salute to her. Let's get into it, man.
Taking off his sunglasses, he looks around, and then he reaches down, pulling something out of his pant leg. He quickly covers it up with his sweatshirt, and no one else in the busy train station has noticed. 20 minutes earlier, 18-year-old Nia Wilson got on the train with two of her sisters, Tashaya and Latifa. Security cameras recorded the man following them and sitting down nearby. For multiple stops, he watched them behind his sunglasses, but he didn't approach them. Around 9:35 p.m., Nia, Tashaya, and Latifa got off the train to transfer, and he walked close behind them. The sisters called their dad to let him know they should be back home soon, and they waited for the train doors to open. But just moments later, outside the station, a police officer's body cam records the man running past. He points them up to the platform, telling them someone was attacked. The cops rush to the scene to help. Then, surveillance video shows the same man at a bus stop. After getting off the bus and away from the security cameras, he disappears. He thought he got away, but when police review this footage, they will find the crucial mistake he made during his escape that will ultimately lead to his capture and avenge the sisters' attack.
It's July 22nd, 2018. Around 9:45 p.m., the girl's dad gets a frantic call from his daughter, Tashaya.
I couldn't understand what she was saying. All I could recognize her saying was Bart. I figured maybe they got in a little skirmish with somebody on Bart.
Unsure of what he'll find, he rushes to the car right away and drives to the MacArthur BART station, or Bay Area Rapid Transit. All he knows is that his girls are in trouble, but what he sees there is worse than he could ever imagine.
When I got there, I see a bunch of ambulance and police. I see them loading Latifa in the ambulance. I seen blood dripping down her arm, and I asked her what happened. She just said, go check on Nia. I turn around, I run up the stairs at Bart, and I see my daughter's body. It's the hardest thing I ever experienced in my life. Seeing my baby dead.
It's impossible for Nia's dad to wrap his head around what he's seeing. In less than 3 minutes from when she was stabbed in the neck, Nia has died. Her dad also has the heartbreaking task of calling her mom, Alicia. When she hears what happened, Alicia is shattered. In disbelief, she leaves her home in Sacramento and heads for Oakland right away.
It was like the longest, quietest Because, I kept on waiting on them to call back and say she okay.
While they're trying to process the attack, Nia and Tashaya's sister, Latifa, is fighting for her. Around 9 p.m., they got to the Concord BART station, heading back home to Oakland. As soon as the man saw them on the escalator to the platform, he targeted them. The girls waited about 15 minutes for the train. Security footage shows him keeping an eye on them the whole time, planning his attack. When they walked towards the doors, the stranger put on a hoodie, grabbed his backpack, and followed them. He entered the train, sitting down near the sisters. For multiple stops, he watched them behind his sunglasses, but he didn't approach them. When the sisters reached MacArthur Station around 9:35, they moved to step off the train to transfer, and he followed. Tashaya got on the next train first. Then, a woman with a baby in a stroller started to back out through the doors, and Latifa and Nia waited on the platform.
She don't see us because she's backing up, but the baby like this at Nia. And Nia, hi, baby. And me and Nia proceeded to walk onto the BART train, but all you hear is, and Nia flung forward. And before I know, I could turn back to me, and that's when Nia screamed my name.
I see Nia, it was like she tripped. I was in shock. I didn't know what to do at that moment.
But all of a sudden, Tashaya saw blood. Nia was stabbed twice in the neck, and Latifa, who was standing next to her on the platform, was stabbed too before the attacker fled.
The doors had closed and then they had reopened, and then I started screaming, trying to go find help. I believe an officer came and talked to me. I was just like, go help my sister, just make sure she's okay.
The woman with the stroller quickly threw her baby's blanket over Nia's neck, and Latifa pressed it against her, desperately trying to slow the bleeding and save her sister.
And all I could think of is like apply pressure. I'm not knowing if I'm hurting her.
African-American women, he fixated on them, and every indication, every angle of the surveillance makes that very clear. While he was in custody, he went out of his way to engage an African-American deputy and proceeded to call her lots of racial slurs as well. There's no doubt in my mind that the assault was racially motivated.
You killed her because of her skin. You didn't kill her for anything else.
But with how difficult it would be to prove it was a hate crime, District Attorney Butch Ford recommends seeking premeditated murder and the special circumstances.
To put up with Democrat-run cities that set loose savage, bloodthirsty criminals to prey on innocent people, really very, very innocent people. In every place, they control radical left judges, politicians, and activists, and they've adopted a policy of catch and release for thugs and killers. In Charlotte, North Carolina, we saw the results of these policies when a 23-year-old woman who came here from Ukraine met her bloody end on a public train. And here's a picture of it. This is the picture of it. And this is a picture of the woman, a beautiful young girl that never had problems in life, with a magnificent future in this country. And now she's dead. She was slaughtered by a deranged monster who was roaming free after 14 prior arrests. We cannot allow a depraved criminal element of violent repeat offenders to continue spreading destruction and death throughout our country. We have to respond with force and strength. We have to be vicious just like they are. It's the only thing they understand. 24 of the top 25 most dangerous cities in America are run by Democrat mayors. 50 people were murdered in Chicago in recent weeks, with hundreds being shot. And it's time to stop this madness. The people of our country need to insist on protection, safety, law, and order. We have proven that it can be done because we did it right here in D.C., in District of Columbia. The capital of America was a bloodthirsty, horrible, dangerous place, one of the worst. And now it's a crime-free city, and we're going to keep it that way. It can be done. It can happen fast. All we want is, please, Mr. President, We need help. Chicago needs help. Other cities needs help. We'll do what has to be done because we're going to make America safe again. And that includes our big cities. We're going to make those cities safe. Thank you.
And it starts with reparations. Notice how he didn't address the underlying core-based issues that are the catalyst. It's the cause that brings out this, this poverty, overly, predatory environmental type of atmosphere. And it's not being addressed. They're not talking about what's the reason behind all of it. And they're going to skip over that. And notice how he didn't talk about reparations was owed and was due. And we talked about before, whenever there's going to be a limited resources, there's going to be a fight for the scraps. And we see that. And we are not the person who manufactured these guns. We're not. Where are we getting these guns? How these guns are getting into our communities? And who's authorizing it for them to come in mass numbers like this? And, they underprotect, black and brown communities, but, especially FBA. So, it's a double standard all the way around that they're trying to play, man. And y'all give me y'all thoughts on this, but we're going to get into a little bit of, I guess, the situation with Iryna. She didn't necessarily know anybody. They didn't know each other. She was getting home from work. And she just met her demise. Right? So it says here, she was just from Ukraine, right? And notice how they all of a sudden want some safety reforms and trying to get that in place when we've been saying that for years, right? We've been trying to get a protection, safety reform way before this. But whenever it happens to them one time, oh, man, now they got to implement the bills and put the bills in. But in reality, man, she ain't even from America. Let's just keep it real. Nothing against her, but, I don't know what brought her here. But again, our tax dollars are going to these refugees. And this kind of see it like a prime example of it. Like, who's to say that that brother didn't need the proper care for mental resources and support with professionals, you know what I mean? And a lot of people come up trauma, have mental health issues. You never know what mental scars or emotional scars that they have, what they're dealing with in their head. So, I mean, it's like we get it and we have sympathy. It shouldn't have happened to that woman. And it was awful what happened to that woman. I'm just saying it happened to us way worse for centuries, and keep the same energy all the way around. And all across the board, keep it fair. And other than that, it's really no, I mean, we ain't really losing no sleep. I mean, because it goes on with us on a daily, and there's no priority announcement from the president or no immediate. There's never any type of immediate intervention when it comes to so-called presidents. And it's funny, like it's just crazy, and it's just a double standard. Give me y'all thoughts on what y'all think about this, man, because it's wild, right? When it came to Nia Wilson, there was all crickets and silence, and she was only 18. That's all I'm saying, man. So we know what they game. We know what they play, man. And look, man, Foundation of Black Americans ain't really tripping. So reparations would have taken care. We could have had our own police task force, pay for, mental health institutions, afford our own insurance to get the proper counsel and nourishment and therapy that our people need in our community, man. We don't have those resources. We don't have access to those things. So we calling it out, man. So it is what it is, man, and it happens. I mean, we've been dealing with it. We dealt with it, and so it goes on. And look, I don't know if she wants to stay in her country. There, I mean, whoever wants to double, it's consider the FBA brothers as natives that came and built it, and pay a little bit more respect and homage, and maybe you probably won't get the radicalized versions of our communities, man, because we get undermined in our own homelands, and we, people coming over and undermine our tax dollars and the dollar gets undercut. But it's a shame, man, the psychological damage that a lot of people have, and they don't even realize it. It's a sad situation. Give me your thoughts on this, man. We're going to be on to the next video, man. I just want to definitely tap in on this, man. Rest in peace to the sister, Nia Wilson, who fatally, tragically was unalived with the same exact situation, but there was no outrage. So we just wanted to definitely pay homage to her and let her story be known too. And your story won't die, and you will live on. So that's how we rocking, man. Let me know what y'all think about this situations. Y'all think it's a double standard? Y'all think that a lot of the world have selective outrage and that colorism is a crippling cancer is an effect? Let me know what y'all think, man. Give me your opinions on it. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.